right, we're on.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Dead of Night broadcast. I'm here with my good buddy and co-host, Nightmare on Woodsboro Lake, Mr. Josh Benson, and our very special guest, Mr. Jonny Noise of the Morning Noise. Gentlemen, what is going up? Welcome to the show.
Rock on, brothers. Thanks for having me on, man. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys again. I had a blast last time, and hopefully we can repeat the process there, man. Good seeing you.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much for being here, and it's great to see you, too. So for those of you that don't know who Jonny is, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Wow. I landed from outer space. No, just kidding. Look, I've been in the punk scene since I would say 78 was when we first kind of got started. That's like junior high school type stuff, and just been in it ever since. So we've went from literally playing in a basement with the worst equipment that you can imagine, getting electrocuted left and right. Back then there was no GFI plugs. Back then you plugged in, you got shocked, and you kept on going. It was just so. And we worked our way up through with like a band called Implosion. We went through a few different things, then we came up with the Morning Noise thing. I left for a while for the military, so I was gone for quite a few years. And coming back, and then the Morning Noise thing kind of picked up again. And so we put the album out of all of our old stuff, and then we put a new LP out with four brand new songs. That's all out now on Cleopatra. It's doing fairly well. It's got videos out there and stuff like that, and which leads me to what I'm doing now here in Alabama, because obviously everybody's in New York, New Jersey. I'm sitting here, and it's tough to coordinate things when you're 900 miles away.
Right.
So, I decided to put together a group of people, and I searched through every band mix and every different thing you can think of to find these folks. And how this started with my new band is Anna, our singer, took an old Morning Noise song, played it on the piano, and did like this bluesy thing with it. And I didn't know, so I'm listening to this thing. I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't know what it was. It was just totally different, and just knocked the damn thing out of the park. I'm like, whoa! So immediately I'm like, I have to get on the phone. I got to talk to this girl and see what's going on. So. And she just has this voice that's just incredible. I mean, she shook the walls. It was like an hour ago at the studio. I mean, it was just amazing what, she really, really has this voice. But I didn't want to get too far away from my punk roots per se. So we're trying to keep in that genre, but again, not overshadowing her voice. I don't want to drown her out with a bunch of just screams and stuff like that. Well, I want to have her sing because she can, just not just screaming in the microphone. So we put together a band, and she had this song called Phantasmagoria, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't even know if it's a real thing. So I'm like everybody else, I'm Googling this shit. What is this crap? And it's a real word. I'm like, okay. So I said, let's just call us that. And one to another, and and we're just chasing people around, trying to get people involved with the project. Bass players are tough, guys. That's all I got to say.
Right.
I struggled to find a bass player. Couldn't find anybody, and there's this guy Josh Dodd, and I know him for quite a while because I did some guitar work with the Casket Kids here locally, and Josh has a studio and a production company and stuff like that. And he also plays bass and guitar. I'm like, well, let me see what Josh is doing, So we've been going back and forth. He goes, yeah. So I got Josh Dodd on bass, I got Brock on drums, who I work with. He played in the punk band way back when. He's really good. And I got Ashana Basti or Anna on vocals than myself, and it's a completely different sound that we're creating. We're taking some old songs, we're doing some old noise songs and changing them up a bit. Again, I want to have her sing them as opposed to just demonize for screaming and stuff. I want her to sing, and then we're doing some old school songs. We're doing like a Jefferson Airplane song, but we're putting these like Metallica riffs in it. You know what I mean? So it's like a White Rabbit, but like you never heard it before. If that makes any kind of sense, we're just rocking the shit out of it. Then let her sing it, let her do her thing. This is the project that I'm involved with now. So we're trying to get some songs together so we can do a few live shows locally, get these guys a little exposure on stage. Because as y'all know, playing in a studio and playing in your house the dynamics. Once you hit the stage, you lose a lot of. You can't hear. There's a lot of distractions, so you have to work into that. And that's kind of where we are now. The noise stuff is still out there, and Cleopatra is still doing its thing, which is all great. I'm very grateful to be a part of all that, of all the new stuff as well. And so the new project for us, we're going to see where it takes us. I'm taking her down to Macon, Georgia, to do a show down there, and Erie Vaughn will be down there. So I haven't seen him in a long time. So he's going to come down, and we're playing with Sugar Virus, and we're doing typo stuff. We're doing all kinds of different, really cool stuff. A few noise songs, maybe some Sam Hain, and so let me bring her down and put her on stage, and let's just let her do a song and in front of that many people and see how it goes. That's kind of where we are. I've been in the studio like a lot.
Right on, man.
Sounds insane. It's been insane.
That's awesome, man. That's super cool. So are you guys going to put out an album? Are you guys working on a record right now?
Yeah, we're discussing some stuff. Josh has some really heavy material, and then she has some more lighter stuff. So somewhere in the middle. I don't want to go too much on the heavy side where I lose her vocals in the mix, so to speak. I want heavy guitars. I want the heavy bass. I want the real grind sound. But I don't want to overshadow what Anna can do on that microphone. That would be the same to drown her out. And all you hear is, just me screaming on the guitar and the crazy bass lines, whatever. So we're going to have some of the quote unquote horror punk stuff mixed in with maybe a White Rabbit rendition and stuff like that, just to mix it up a little bit. So it's not the same thing over and over and over again, where it's just the same songs you hear every time you go see somebody play. It's the same, So we're trying to figure that out, and that's all in the planning stages. And what's good about all of us is personality-wise, we all seem to click. No one's too over the top. Everybody's very low-keyed. We discuss things. It's very early in the game for us. It's very, very early. So it's not so much as, are you talented enough to do this? That can all be put together. It's, do we get along? Does everybody get along together? Everybody that's going to be pushing and say, well, I'm in charge. This is my stuff. Or, I told him from the beginning, look, even the old Morning Noise stuff, we decided to do any of the songs. If you want to change it up, we will. I'm not a dictator like, this is my stuff, and you got to do it my way or hit the road, buddy. No, so everybody's nice and low key. So we're hoping. I'm pushing really hard for all this to get together. So
that's awesome. Very cool.
Man. Yeah. See what happens. So you can do.
That's right. And you said you have a show coming up too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's on the 18th in Macon, Georgia. Of ours. I have stuff posted. And again, we're hoping Erie's going to come out. Erie Vaughn.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, we went to high school together. They were a little ahead of me, but we went to school together. So it's going to be a cool show, So between my songs and then rehearsing what I'm going to do there, and it's been eating up a lot of my time.
Right.
People going, where you been on social media? Who has time for that right now when I'm, every night I'm playing guitar to 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to get these songs down. It'll come down. We're doing the stage. We're getting everything together, and we'll just kind of see what happens. I got Anthony doing some artwork, because who else are you going to get to do artwork?
That's true, man. Big shout out to Anthony Noble.
Yeah, he's the man. So when I started this whole thing, I'm like, there's only one person who's going to do artwork that I would even ask, to do a picture, and that's Anthony. So I'm really stoked about that. So yeah, that's kind of where we are, man. It's just been it's been a roller coaster. It has been a wild ride, So it's been crazy, go nuts.
That's awesome, man. That's super cool. Well, I'm super glad that you guys are getting a show together and everything's coming together. I can't wait to hear the record. I wish I could come see the show, and it's in Georgia, correct?
Macon, Georgia.
Macon, Georgia,
Lincoln,
and
Georgia.
the 18th. So that's gonna be that's super awesome, man. So today we're gonna be deep diving into one of your favorite horror films of all time, and that is
Oh, Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Yeah.
We're gonna do a deep dive into this. So I actually just watched the film today. So I kind of remember what's going on. Josh,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the rundown of the film.
Yeah, it's so it revolves around this family, and they're living life like usual, and all of a sudden, I don't know. Do you want like a spoiler free, or do you want like everything just put out there?
Came out in the 80s. I think we can. I think we would spoil it. If you haven't seen it by now, then you live under a rock.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so the family all of a sudden starts getting plagued by these spirits, this poltergeist that's like it starts out like the little girl is talking to the television through the static, and it just keeps getting weirder and weirder as things go on, like the house shaking and like like it I don't want to I'll save the rest of it, but yeah, they're dealing with these spirits in their house, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
John, when was the first time you ever saw this film?
Oh my God! You know what? I don't even remember. It's been a long time. But I mean, I can almost quote some of the lines verbatim. It's just such a cool movie, and
yeah,
some of it was a little campy. Like okay, I get it. But what some of the stuff that I would say, that kind of would freak somebody out. Like when the clown was under the bed, his arms stretched out and grabs the kid. And I was like, "Oh!" You're like, and the tree comes crashing through the window, just stuff like that. And then the little creepy lady who was supposed to be the medium, she's supposed to like purify the house or something, and there's all this stuff going on, like so stuff like that was just I thought it was a really cool film, and then of course towards the end after they go through all this stuff, this whole family literally goes through hell and back. They leave, the house just gets sucked in the ground, just like totally decimated. They check into a hotel, and like you said, all this kind of started with the static on the TV.
Yeah.
So the guy playing the father in the movie just when they check into the hotel, it wheels the TV out and just throws it in the mouth. He's like, get this out of here. That's all.
That's such a great way to end the movie too. He just pushes the TV out of here.
It's like yeah. So I just thought it was a really cool flick, and a lot of great effects and stuff like that. And and so for me, it was one of my more favorite stuff. I mean, it's way different than say like The Exorcist or other movies like that are just straight. The Exorcist is when I first saw that scared the daylights out of me. I was like, holy
right.
Leave the lights on, and it's just crazy. But Poltergeist had its moments. Wasn't so over the top, I think, and so that's kind of one of my favorite films. So
absolutely.
And I love how.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I love how I love like in the beginning, it just shows them in their day-to-day lives, and like their neighbor they like share cable with or whatever. He like flipping on the football game, and he keeps turning on like he's like, well, my kids want to watch Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
It's crazy. And then once it all starts, it's like, here we go. It's buckle up. Put your safety.
Right? Yeah, it gets crazy fast.
Yeah, it does. It's just so like I said, I kind of aside from some of the creepy parts, like again the clown thing just gets me. I was like, that's that was kind of like, oh, here we go. They look on your bed for so it was good. I got to say,
it's a great film.
It was
so. Good. I've got a couple of facts, actually. So number one fact, I actually didn't know this, but Stephen King was originally hired to write the script for it. He ended up turning it down, though. Number two, the feelings The Freelings neighborhood was based on Spielberg's own neighborhood. So the neighborhood where they lived or where they grew up, that was based on his. The film is similar to an episode from the Twilight Zone. This one's actually really cool. And I had mentioned this before on my channel as well, is that Drew Barrymore and auditioned for the role of Carrie Ann. Now, yeah, so Drew Barrymore read for Carol Ann. She read for that part, and Heather O'Rourke actually read for E.T. And both of them, because those are both Spielberg movies, Drew Barrymore actually got the role for E.T., and then Heather O'Rourke got the role for Carol Ann. But I just think it's cool that they both read for both parts.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg was a hands-on producer, literally was there every day. This movie is actually shrouded in a lot of controversy because they believe that the film is actually cast because of the used actual cadaver bodies at the end of the movie in the swimming pool and coming up out of the coffin. There were several different deaths that happened and occurrences from the first one. Heather O'Rourke passed away at the age of 12 from cardiac arrest after doing Poltergeist 3. The daughter who plays Dana, Dominique Dune, actually was murdered by her boyfriend. And he was actually murdered by her boyfriend after 6 months after the movie came out. She was 22 years old. And he only spent 6 years in prison for it.
What?
Whoa.
He only got 6 years. Somebody else from part 2 ended up dying of kidney failure. Although I've never seen the sequels, so
I never saw it either. So I have nothing to know.
It's actually, you can find out a lot more on Cursed Films at Shudder. That's on Shudder. There's a documentary series called Cursed Films, and it's like what happened on the Poltergeist, what happened on the set of The Exorcist. I think Ken Sledge had mentioned that before, and I actually got a chance to check it out. It was really good. So I highly suggest if you have Shudder, you should check that out. Some of my favorite, I think one of my favorite scenes actually is that they put one of the guys is he's part of the paranormal research team. He's the dude with the glasses, and he ends up getting up in the middle of the night and going to get something to eat. He ends up going to the bathroom and literally ripping off his own face. So actually what was cool about that is actually Steven Spielberg actually ripped his face off because they only had one bust. They only had one bust of his face. So Steven Spielberg likes, if you can't do it right, I'll do it. And so he was the one who tore his face off. And then the kid who gets eaten by the tree, actually, that whole thing was actually played in reverse. He was actually spit up from the tree, but they played it backwards so it looked like he was eaten. And that was actually one of Spielberg's nightmares that he had taken in. He had a dream about a tree coming through his window and grabbing him and pulling him into this tree and eating him. And so he put it in the movie. Just super rad.
Yeah. That's cool as hell.
Yeah. The chair stacking scene, I know actually only took one take to do, which is crazy to me because it's so fast. Because she literally turns down to bend something back up, and she looks around. The chairs are all stacked on the table neatly, which is just insane to me.
So not as crazy, but did you notice in the boys' room, one of the posters hanging up on the wall was Alien?
Yep.
Oh, really?
Which is really cool.
I don't remember that part, but yeah.
We had a lot of Star Wars stuff too. We had
Yeah. That's great. Like I said, I think overall there's a lot of good points in the movie. And it was when they were gonna go cross over to the other side to get the daughter back, and the medium, she goes, well, I better go, and she goes, well, do you have any experience doing it? She goes, no, neither do you. So, okay, you go. So,
you go. I love how they're arguing who's going to go through. Yeah.
I'm going to go through this thing, and go grab this kid, and we can, they had the rope tied around him and get him back, So, yeah, it's just silly stuff like that. But I thought it was a really cool film.
Yeah, I did too. And I love the simple fact that it's based upon how a housing development project, how they literally built over a burial ground and just moved the headstones and didn't remove the bodies. They just built over the top of it. So they disturbed the burial ground, and that's why they were cursed. which I think is super, super scary. And the fact that they actually used real dead bodies is like, wow. And I guess they didn't tell the actress who played his wife, John, who plays his wife in that movie. They didn't tell her that they were real until after the movie was over, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, those are real dead bodies you're swimming around with."
They had to go for authenticity, man.
Yeah, I know.
I want to that. You got to, with everything, shooting a movie and the permits or whatever, had to pull that one off without, having someone banging on your door after that.
I don't know. I that's the thing is I think they got him from. They were all cadaver bodies, and they were all like scientifically donated. So I mean, if you're Steven Spielberg and you got the cash, you can buy like 7 dead bodies.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Wow. Speaking about, I want to be an organ donor and I want to be in a Spielberg movie. So
Right?
I think you can add that to your license now.
Yeah.
A little heart thing for organ donor, then you have a little skull thing saying you can come back.
Spielberg movies.
Let me sit around for about 4 or 5 years, dig me up, and then shove me in a corner, and I'll come out and like grab somebody.
Right?
Oh, Jesus, that's crazy. Man.
I know, that is just nuts.
Yeah. So what have you guys been up to? I mean, did you got some shows under your belt you've been working through with your band and stuff? And
right now we're not really doing shows. We are actually going to be working on a record right now. We're just working on a small EP. We're trying to find someone to actually record for us. So that's really been the thing. I actually am working on our 4th horror film right now, and Josh is going to be joining us on the cast, which is really cool. Okay. Yep. We're writing a werewolf movie called The Night Howler that comes out. I actually want to drop it because my wife and I are actually going to Salem, Massachusetts this summer. So, yeah, we both turned 40 this year. And then we've been married for 10 years this year, so we thought we'd do something fun. We're actually staying in town at a bed and breakfast that's called the Northey House. It's like right in. I've never been there, so I'm really excited. So I want to drop the movie before that happens. And then Josh is going to be a brand new daddy soon. So congratulations to him.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So we want to get that all done so we don't run into baby time because that's very important. But what about you, Josh? You're in a band too. Tell us a little bit about your band as well.
My band's Outer Resistance. We're more of a progressive hard rock group. I come from a very metal background though, so I used to do a lot of heavy music. And we're doing a couple of shows coming up. Might go record at least another single. We're trying to figure out eventually a full length album. It's just kind of been a talking part of it all. So, but yeah, we got some shows coming up. Hopefully, I have a few in March, and that's when the baby's due. So we're gonna play that. Like, if I'm at the show and my wife calls me and she's like, "I'm going into labor," like, I'm fucking gone, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me finish this last riff. Hurry up.
Yeah. Hold on, honey. I got one more song, and then we gotta go.
Let me end on this E. Okay, let's go.
Can you clench it?
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So yeah. What was I gonna say? You guys see you got guitars back there, John?
Yeah, a few. Yeah, I thinned it out. It was getting. Yeah. It's not just me. The other guitar players are like, well, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. So I went nuts. When the noise thing first started, I had like 2 guitars, and it just morphed into like a dozen. And I'm like, whoa, what am I gonna do? I can't. There's just gathering dust. I had this big Electromatic, white and gold Electromatic, beautiful guitar. Never touched it. I played a little bit on it. I was afraid to scratch the damn thing. I was like, Jesus, because it was like this big, it was like a piece of art. I didn't want to mess with it. So
Right.
I had this big Warlock that was super heavy, super top heavy. So the second I did a few shows with that guitar. The second you kind of let it go, it just went, it's got to hold the thing up and play it, so it's not like, it doesn't stay still on your shoulder. So I decided recently to thin everything out. I really like the Gretsch guitars, and I have an SG that I got up in Nashville, and so I kept that, and I got rid of everything else. And there was no room in my studio. I was like surrounded by guitars. I couldn't even, it's like walking around stuff, and how many can you play? So I decided to stick with the Gretsch guitars, and I have quite a few of them, and they have a really deep tone that I have for solid bodies, semi-hollow bodies, stuff like that. And they just really, really have a super deep tone to them. And if you play, if someone says, well, that's a fast guitar, or that's just more of a rhythm guitar, like the SG is super fast. It's the light guitar. The action is real low, and that you can just really, I don't play leads that well, but I can move a lot faster on the SG than I can on one of my Gretches. But then for rhythm-wise, I like the Gretches when you're muting the strings and you're really grinding. They have this really super deep tone to it, and it makes you feel it. So when I'm just doing rhythm, not a lot of leads or whatever, I use my Gretsch. So,
right on.
Yeah, and they're super cool. I mean, the Electromatics are just awesome guitars. I'll show you one real quick. Just to throw it at you. This, it looks like almost like a car. It's
on.
This Electromatic. It's solid, but it's chambered, so it's all hollow in here. It's a solid body guitar. It's got the Bigsby Onyx. I'm not a big, I'm not doing these big Van Halen screaming, So just to have a little bit of vibrato is fine. But and it's weighted, so it's not something. It doesn't feel like it's a cheap guitar. It's got some weight to it, like an old Gibson kind of feel to it. So it's heavy, and I prefer that. That feels like I have something. I have something in my hands other than my SG is super light, but my Electromatics are also kind of similar to this, just different designs. So I just decided to stick with the Gretsch. And they're really awesome guitars. In my opinion, everybody has their own thing. Some people are like, oh well, it's got to be a Les Paul or a Stratocaster. I was never a Strat guy. I was never that guy. It was either Ibanez, Jacksons, especially with the punk stuff. I had a Jackson, and then when I started kind of fooling with these, and they're not super expensive. You get these for $800 and change or whatever. So you're not breaking the bank.
Right.
So if you ding one up, like, okay, I'm pissed, but I'm not out $5,000.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of why I play them. But and there's, like I said, they're super nice, and they look, they're sharp as shit. They really have a nice finish on them, and they're just badass. But for stage stuff, like I said, I got Black SG, and I just use that, and it's I got this at the Gibson store, and it does the job. So it's got the single and double coil, switches on it and stuff like that. This is light. I mean, you can fling this around. That's why I got the strap lock on it, because I beat the crap out of this thing,
Yeah.
And like I said, it's fast. It's a little thinner on the neck, and it's hella fast. You can just really move on the fretboard. Well, the other one's it's a little beefier, so you can feel it on your fingers more when you're playing. Well, this you can really move on it. That's kind of what I prefer using this if I'm going to, especially on stage, because it is lighter. But recording and stuff like that, practices, I use my Gretches, man. It's all good.
Right on.
Oh yeah.
Don't you play, Josh?
Me? I play a little.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to have a 12-string acoustic. I play a little bit, and I never had any electric guitars. I mainly played acoustic guitar, but I mean, I could pick up an electric and play it pretty okay. I also play like piano,
Oh, awesome. Okay.
and a little bit of violin.
Oh, really?
Wow. That's pretty cool. Well, you said 12 string. Hang on. I got one for you. Wait. The hits keep coming, guys. and just remember, I thinned out my guitars. So this is another Gretsch 12 string.
Oh, that's
That's
really
sweet, too. That's
Yeah.
really nice.
It's a beast. It's probably out of tune because as anybody else plays guitar, you know, when your room gets hot or cold, or the temperature changes, your strings just go all wonky on, and you got to keep retuning it. This is a beast. This is, you know, it's got the pickup and all that stuff in it. It's probably way out of whack, you know, but it's got a real cool sound to it. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of I got more, but that's kind of
That body is huge.
I'll show you one more, man.
Hey man, I put on Christmas weight. Don't be judging my body.
No, this is. I don't play this. This is not. This piece of junk was given to me by my cousin. I think it was in the 4th grade.
Oh, wow.
The nylon youth guitar. I've had this thing for 100 years, and you can't even tune it anymore. The little bone, little wraparound, they're just shot. So I got strings on it, but they're real loose. But I just saved this guitar. I mean, I've had this thing since like I think it's about the 4th or 5th grade is when I got this thing, and I just
wow.
This was my 2-string guitar that I was playing like Smoke on the Water until my parents said, "Shut up! I can't take it no more."
Dan, Dan, Dan.
Oh yeah, drove.
I'm gonna be good, Mom. Shush.
Shush, yeah. So I just you know I just hung that on my wall just because it's something I had my entire life, you know. So, but yeah, it's all good. Like I said, my collection was getting way out of control. You know, I was getting kind of the evil eye from the boss. I'm like, I better do something. So, but there was just, it gets to the point where it's like anything else. How much stuff do you need? And then it came down to what instruments am I using and what's just sitting there.
Right.
So I went on Facebook Marketplace. Once I got some pricing from like Guitar Center and some other places, I called and fudged a little bit. And then I took a few dollars off from what they would have sold it for. And in 2 weeks, I mean, I got rid of 8 guitars. It was like bang.
Wow.
Bang. Yeah, because I didn't try to price gouge anybody. Say, well, this is whatever. Look, if it was a $400 guitar, I sold it for $350. If it was a $1,000 guitar, I sold it for $800. I just wanted to. And the guy who bought my big white and gold Electromatic, which looks similar to the acoustic, it was brand new. He gave me full price for the guitar, and he was just going to hang it on his wall.
Wow.
No, he goes, I'm not even going to play this guitar. You know, he had plenty of money, so he's like,
right.
He had all the guitars and stuff. He goes, you know, wow, this is beautiful. He goes, I'm just going to hang it on my wall. I'm like, okay. So I said, well, once I get the cash, you can light it on fire. You know, whatever you want to do. No, but you know, it was a beautiful guitar, kind of a replica of the White Falcon. You know, played like butter, sounded amazing. You know, I wasn't using it. You know, it was a shame to have something like that sit there. Well, now it's wall art, so there you go. You know, but hey, it's when you have that kind of money, you know, it's like, yeah, let's go buy a guitar and just hang it on the wall. And, okay, thank you. And so,
I wish I had that kind of money.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah, you can say I don't have you know, I don't have a Gibson or you know, I just $4,000 or $5,000. Even used one $1,200-$1,500 for something that's all beat up. You know, it's a 19 whatever Gibson Les Paul, and it's hella scratched. You know, and they put it on Marketplace, and they think they're gonna get $2,000 for it.
Wow.
I'll put my Epiphone up against one of those guitars, and I'm not saying that it's a superior guitar, but it's close sound wise. It's very close. And it's close enough where the $4,000 or $5,000 is not going to make that big of a difference in sound to me. Where this you can get for $1,000, you know. So
sure.
it doesn't make sense to me when you're looking at something economically. Because you know, who's got like $5-10 grand? then what do you do with the thing? You got a expensive guitar. You're like, don't touch it. You don't want to bring it on stage. And I'd be like, you're like having a Porsche or a whatever car. You're like, and you drive it to Walmart. It's like, somebody stand by the car while I go shopping, please. Nobody scratches the damn thing.
Right. It's like buying a muscle car or like buying a muscle car and leaving it in your garage.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be afraid to take it out. So like, well, if I'm not going to use these guitars, there's no use in buying them. Where I throw mine in a case, and any of them I just go. I don't worry about it. I still, I'm still like, I hate when you go to the clubs and you got your stuff sitting there on and I got really good stands, and there's beers being dropped on the floor. You're like, oh man, there's my guitar sitting there. And this dude's like, drunk. So I did. It was this drunk guy, like stumbling over stuff, and all my equipment there, and I was like, oh, this ain't gonna happen. So I gathered up all my stuff, threw it in the car, left my amp until I was ready to go on stage. Then I went and got one guitar out. So you just take 2 or 3 in case you break a string or whatever. I said, I'm not leaving my stuff out of here. If I crank a string out, whatever, I'll walk out the door to my car, grab another one. So I'm wireless, plug back in, and walk back in the club. I mean, so I was parked right there. I'm not gonna leave my stuff out. So, whoever's pushing around drunk, whatever, is gonna knock into all your gear. So it's all good though. Like I said, it's but I really, like I said, the Gretsch guitars for me, that's just like, again, it's a personal preference. Everybody has their what they like, and I happen to fall into that when I started playing that particular style of guitar. So, so maybe they'll give me money for an endorsement. I don't know. We'll see. Cut me a check, Rich. Come on, don't be
right. Right.
Don't be sick.
So, when are we all going on tour together,
dude? I'm hoping to break my new band out sometime in this summer.
Okay.
The songs are there. Everything is pretty much ready to go as far as music. We're working on composition. So what I told these guys is I don't want to go and just do and play songs like, quote unquote, like bar band, here's whatever, and 1, 2, 3, I said, and you play. I said, I want to show, no matter where you play, you treat it like it's Madison Square Garden. I don't care if it's 300 people, 1,000 people, you treat it like you're at you're in front of 10,000. So, we got lighting. We're going to have a beginning of the show. We're going to have this whole drum thing going on. I got smoke machines, so I want this whole effect, even at a bar. We're going to have to play some bars. I got to get these guys exposed to this, so they're going to have to kind of tough it out.
Yeah.
As you know, the sounds different. You lose your sound. It's a different animal when you're on stage as opposed to in the rehearsal studio where you got all your monitors and all your stuff, and it's out of control. So I want to we're putting together a concert, even though we're going to start playing at the smaller venues to kind of work our way up, but on concert, not just, hey, we're the whatever, and this is our song. No. Yeah. No introductions, no nothing. It's going to start out with the lights and the smokes and the drums, and we come on and start doing our thing. And then after the first song or so, then we'll tell everybody who we are, So I just want to treat it that way, where it's not just, so it's got to be, I want it to be an experience, not just, hey, we're here to see this band, so when people leave, they're like, wow, did you see that? So not only they hear some great music, but visually, I want to give them a show. And that's what we're working on. Not 100% choreographed, but, at least musically choreographed, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you give to people. When you do this stuff, you give them, you look at some of the bigger bands, no one goes out and say, hey, we're so-and-so, and here's our stuff. No, they just go out there and start playing, their intro and the lights flashing and stuff happening, and they walk out there and you give them a complete show. I was telling my singer, Anna, I said, even at these smaller venues, if you can get, like the drunk guy at the bar who's eating that cheeseburger, he's like just sitting there, or whatever. If he stops for a second and kind of looks up to see what's going on, you got him. You know what I mean? It makes any kind of sense. If you can get someone's attention who's just, I'm going to stop at Gillies over here and get a burger. Oh, it happens to be a man. And then that person stops and looks up to see what's going on. You know, instead of having his face down to the plate and drinking his beer and eating his burger, then you've done something to say, okay, well, you got this guy's attention who had no intentions to even stay other than to eat his burger and drink his beer and go home. And now he's sitting watching you. So that's when you have something going on. And so that's what I kind of trying to impress upon these guys is, you know, that'll be our first kind of hurdle. You know, when you can grab somebody who's not specifically there to see you, you know, at whatever bar or club or whatever, and then they stay, or you can distract them enough where they will stop whatever they're doing socially and look up and say, oh, there must be a good band playing. What's with all the lights and the smoke and the sound? You know, that's how you reel them in. So
absolutely.
But yeah, I really want to have a full-on show no matter where we play, you know. So and I think about that stuff too, even with the Jason Virus Sugar Virus show coming up, and you know what's my part going to be, and I'm sitting in with those guys, and so I'm going to play it a little safe. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, you know, and just go crazy. But you know, Jason and I talked about a few things when we were doing some of the Moy Noise stuff. He said, you know, just we'll back you. You go up and do your thing. So I said, okay, cool. But when we're doing the other songs, I'm going to kind of lay back a little bit because it's their venue, their show. I'm a guest, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll do what I have to do for some of my stuff, and it's just like the some of the other shows. I just got called on stage, just jumped down with a band. You know, hey, come on, do a song with us. I was like, and you just hopefully know the whole thing, you know, and you just go with it, you know, and see what happens. We're super stoked about the show, and I'm really anxious to get my singer on stage and let her do her thing. She belted out some notes tonight in the studio that shook the walls. You know, it was
awesome.
Like, where did that come from? It's like really, really, you know. So I'm really hopeful that things will progress quickly once we get this ball rolling. You know what I mean? So we'll kind of see where it goes. But yeah, I'm ready for a tour, man. You know, when it warms up now up there, I don't know if I want to, you know. Yeah.
No, you don't want to be here now. It is colder than shit.
No, we're not. Yeah, we're not going to do the hammer and sickle ice tour. No, you keep all that weather. When it warms up, I'll come up.
Sounds good. Josh, you coming with? We're all three going on tour.
Hey, it's all good. We put together shows. You know, I got some guys out in Colorado, a good friend of mine, playing with a band out there, and you know, so I have all these open invitations to different places. Yeah. You know, it's just a matter of coordinating. You know, I think once the flights and things kind of settle down travel-wise, because I tried to, you know, get out to a few places, and they canceling flights and people are stuck. I can't take that chance. So
yeah, exactly.
Simmer down, you know, and go out to Colorado, you know, and sit in with some guys or whatever the case may be. And but you know, right now you could get stuck. You know, so well, we'll get you home in about 2 weeks. You know, I can't have it. Get in and get out. You know, so it's tough. Things are not normal right now, so you got to kind of be careful on how you travel, where you go, and how are you getting back. So
exactly.
Yeah, right now we're keeping everything within driving distance. I'll go 4 or 5 hours in the car and do a gig, and you know, come back, and at least the transportation's on me, not on some airlines that might say, "Well, we canceled your flight. We're sorry." You know, you know. I hope the seats at the airport are comfortable. I'm going to be here for about a week. You know, it's like, oh no.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. People got stuck all over this past season. It was insane.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know, I still got to crank out the 9 to 5. You know, so I got obligations and stuff, and so I got to be cautious with that. I have to be able to, you know, get where I have to go and get back. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for now is things to really kind of settle down. You know. Yeah. So I'm anxious to go. I'd hawk my car tomorrow and then go. You know, so
right.
Well, yeah, it just has to be the right time. So
exactly,
we're getting it together. We're putting together our fan page. I'll get that out to you guys as soon as we get it all together with a few sound bites and a bunch of pictures, stuff like that. Anna's got Shana Vasti page out where she kind of vibes on her piano and does some singing and stuff, and she's really, really good. I'm really thankful I met her.
Yeah.
And everybody in our band now, and I'll say our because it's not mine, and we all have a equal. We're all vested equally in this thing. Everybody seems very grounded. Know how it is, know this, know that, which I like. You can make music happen as long as you don't have that one personality that's like, just driving everybody crazy. So well, I'm hoping that with people like that, low keyed, respectful of each other and willing to hear ideas. I mean, she took a Morning Noise song and flipped it on its ear. Because she goes, I hope you didn't mind, that I did this and this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. We amped it up a little bit, because she just had keyboards going. So we amped it up a little bit, and then we're ending on a pretty heavy riff. But so that's kind of like, that's where we are. So we're just trying to stay focused and not get burnt out. You got to take little breaks here and there because everybody's traveling pretty far to these studios. It's like an hour away. Oh, I think we lost somebody here.
No, I'm still here. Hang on.
You still you went poltergeist on us. We got to go through TV.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I went poltergeist. Caroline, walk into the light, Caroline. Walk into the light.
You went staticky. It's like, what the hell's going on? Great.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I can feel your presence, Louis. I can feel your presence.
Louis' presence. Yeah.
I had my daughter with me. We watched it. She's never seen the movie, so I had her watch it with me today. And she was walking around the house going, "Caroline, walk into the light." She didn't like the clown either. That's really funny that you mentioned that. She was like, "I don't like that clown." And I was like, "You just wait. It gets worse."
Yeah. There's another movie that's out. I don't know if it's Netflix. And the guy's like a serial killer, but he's a clown, and it's like the most vicious thing I've ever seen. And this lady he had her hanging upside down by these.
Oh, Terrifier!
Is that it? And he like chainsaws her in half.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was thinking. I was like, my gears were turning in my head when you were saying, like, God, that sounds familiar. What's he talking about? As soon as you said he turned that girl upside down, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, that movie is awesome. I haven't seen the second one yet. There's a second one out, and I haven't seen it yet. Have you guys?
No. I just saw that one. We just started doing the streaming thing, so I got rid of all my satellite TVs, and we just stream. So I was like, "What is this?" And even the the picture, like this is whacked. This guy's crazy. He just hacked up all kinds of people, but he's like a deranged. It's like it's
Art the Clown.
Yeah,
just has a garbage bag full of like rusty tools that he chops people up with. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's and another movie I saw this past year, which I never saw, Frankenhooker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
There it is. I love that movie.
That thing is so, it's whacked. I was like, what the frick? And then to have it was set in Jersey, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jersey, he worked for the power company or something like that, whatever the frick it was. And he's like, they hacked up.
Look, it's a great love story. A man loses his girlfriend in a lawn mowing accident, and he rebuilds her out of dead prostitutes. What man in this world would do the same for their girlfriends? That's why it's the greatest love story ever told.
All these different parts from all these, it was insane. I was like, what the? I'm actually
friends with the actress. I talk to her all the time.
Really?
Yeah, Patty
Yeah.
Mullen. Yeah, I have her on Instagram. She always likes because she loves our band stuff, and
Oh
it's super
yeah.
awesome. So we posted a flyer from
That's cool, man.
we posted a flyer from Frankenhooker, and she was like, "Who did you hire to be the Frankenhooker?" I'm the Frankenhooker. And I'm like, no, my band's Frankenhooker. And then so we got like a 20-minute conversation about it, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's so cool! You guys should come play in Chicago sometime at one of the conventions." And I was like, "Okay, yeah,
Wow.
we'll definitely come down there and do it."
But I didn't know, I knew you guys. I didn't know there was a movie. Until I'm
Yeah, that's where we got the idea from.
I'm like, holy shit! So so I walked, and it was like, oh man, it was just the craziest thing. So anyway, yeah. That was funny. But
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well,
So,
this has been super awesome talking to you, John. I had a great time. Thank you for deep diving with us into Poltergeist. If you guys want to follow John, all of his links will be in the description box below. I want to thank Jonny. Thank you, Josh, for being here. I don't know what you're doing down there.
he ducked out, man. I don't know what happened. He's putting it on
Oh, he left. Mike's here. If you want to follow Michael Myers, his link will be in the description box below. Along with my YouTube and Josh's YouTube, and also everybody's bands will all be in the description box below. So thank you guys so much for being here. Until next time, stay horror, and if it goes bump in the night, Josh and I will be there.
Rock on, brothers. Yeah. I appreciate talking to you guys.
You too. Don't go where we got a few more questions to ask you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. But everybody else, we'll see you later.
Yep. Thanks,
Sure,
guys.
we'll see y'all later.
Yeah.